Hey y'all, I'm Alexandra, a solo outdoor adventure enthusiast and photographer from Pittsburgh, and in this video I'm camping alone in one of America's most remote national parks, the Dry Tortugas. Hey, I am in the parking garage and I just finished getting all of my stuff ready to go, and I am so nervous. I'm just afraid I forgot something. I'm afraid I missed some rule or something. I'm just so anxious. I've never camped on an island. It's about time to walk over to the ferry terminal and hopefully everything goes smoothly. We will see.
Thrill fell on my heart like the rain.
Having successfully checked in and gotten all the onboarding information, it is time to real quick go grab coffee and breakfast. So there's really only one way to get to the Dry Tortugas if you want to camp, and that is by boat. If you don't have your own boat, you have to take the Yankee Freedom ferry. I was extremely lucky to have snagged a camping ticket just 2 months before my trip, which was probably a cancellation. Usually these tickets are booked up like 6 months to a year in advance. And there's just something so zen about being able to look out at the open ocean for 2.5 hours after the stress of the road trip and packing and making sure I had everything I needed to rely on myself for these 2 days. And now it's all done. Now I get to just enjoy it. Well, I get to enjoy it after doing all the hard work of setting up camp, but I can't really complain too much about this work when this is the view I get to enjoy while setting up camp. So here's one more thing I felt like I got lucky on. I think it's unusual for there to only be one camper taking the boat in on a particular day. So there were other campers already on the island who were staying multiple nights or took their own boats in, but I was the only camper arriving on this day, so I got the pick of all of the remaining campsites. There was a relief in not having to sort of have that awkward social dance of, you don't want to like fight with people about campsites, and I was kind of worried about that. So I got to pick this site that I actually really like. Okay, I'm going to take some time now before we head off to explore to ward off some of the most pertinent dangers out here, dehydration and sunburn. And maybe the most important thing is that you have to hang or store your food and trash in a way that rats and hermit crabs can't get to it. The park is actively working to mitigate the rat problem, but the hermit crabs are on you. It's like I have landed in paradise. Probably took me about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to get set up and everything. I honestly think this is like the perfect spot. I don't intend to like spend any time in my tent during the day, otherwise it'd be too hot because there's no shade, but it's gonna get cool at night, so I am not complaining. I have an amazing view of the fort. It's just like I'm camping on some deserted island, because I am. Now I'm just gonna take a wander. I'm just gonna walk around, go out on a key that's usually closed because there are endangered birds that nest there, but this is kind of in their like nesting off season, so it's a rare period of time that strip of beach is open. So I'm gonna walk down there and just take a loop and maybe go for a swim to cool off at some point. So that's the plan. Bush Key, where we are now, is home to the largest nesting colony of sooty terns in the U.S. Upwards of 80,000 birds come here all at once to nest. It's early March and they've just started to come to shore to nest, but haven't quite started laying eggs yet. Once they do, the entire key is closed. But for now, it's so cool to be able to walk amongst this insane swarm of birds. Their symphony of calls can be heard from every part of the island all day and all night. I found it calming, like white noise. So I was on the fence about trying to snorkel while I was here. It's one of the most popular activities on the island, aside from seeing the fort itself and the natural beauty that exists above the water. But I ultimately decided not to because, if I'm being honest, I'm afraid of drowning. And I'm not a super confident swimmer. I always err on the side of better safe than sorry when I travel solo. But I still loved floating around in the crisp water near the beach and didn't ultimately feel like I missed out. There goes the boat, but a fresh new seaplane has arrived, so we're not entirely alone, just the campers yet, but I figured now is a good time to take a walk along the moat wall and see if I can see any critters. The goal of this trip, I really want to see a sea turtle. I've never seen a sea turtle in the wild, and tortugas means turtles in Spanish. It's named for all the sea turtles in this area. And it's Dry Tortugas to let sailors know back in the day that there was no fresh water here. So I have heard that at least at one time there was a specific turtle that lived in the moat. So we're looking for that guy. But we're also just going to enjoy this just incredible scenery. I cannot believe I'm really here. It's so wild. So they are actually working on repairs on the fort and the moat. So there's a gap in the moat up here, so you can't walk all the way around. I do believe they're fixing this gap so that you would be able to walk all the way around the fort. So if you look closely here, you can see that there are accommodations for rangers, maintenance workers, and other National Park Service staff built into the fort. So you can actually see the little balconies on their accommodations. Now, you can't access this area in any way as a visitor to maintain their privacy. I just think it's really cool how they build in the accommodations into the fort. I can't imagine what it looks like on the inside. So the heat is really starting to do a number on me. So now it's about 4 o'clock. So now it is time to finally explore the fort because I've been waiting for the crowds to dissipate and for me to have the need for some shade. So we're going to do that now. It is like barely even 4:30. I'm gonna head back to camp to make dinner because I need sustenance. We are making Cobb salad wraps for dinner this evening. So you are not allowed to bring gas camping stoves on the ferry, and you're not allowed to burn wood either. I figured it would be easier just to pack a cooler of food that doesn't need to be cooked rather than lugging out a bag of charcoal or using sterno gel, which is really your only two options. Man, these little suckers heard the dinner bell, or I guess smelled the dinner bell. They're literally coming out of the woods, like in droves. It's insane. Sometime after dinner, the last seaplane left. It feels like a hush has fallen over Garden Key. It's just me and a handful of other campers, maybe about a dozen. From the beach, I listened to the birds and watched the sun drift towards the horizon. And now it's time to watch the sunset from the top of Fort Jefferson.
Staring at the ceiling for a while. Now my heart's got this feeling. My eyes, there must be more for seeing. And I know that everybody's dreaming. They grow like titans, or it seems. And I know, I must be planted for a reason. And if you could be my open skies, and I could be a wildflower. Yeah, I could be a wildflower.
After that incredible sunset, I was exhausted, and I was ready to be up early again for sunrise, so it was lights out. But I did sleep with my tent door open to peek at the stars when I woke up throughout the night. They were pretty incredible, 70 miles away from civilization.
If you could be my open skies, and I could be a wildflower. Yeah, I could be a wildflower. And underneath the sea of stars I'll bloom to make it through to where everything could be ours. If you could be my open skies, and I could be your wildflower. You could be my open skies. You could be my open skies. You could be my open skies.
So I have to get all my gear packed up and then back on the dock by 10:30. So I figured now is a good time as any to pack up. And I'm just gonna pack a day bag with everything I should need until departure later today. And then I think I will probably just take another lap around the island and see what I can see. And that's my ride. the boat is gonna drop off this day's worth of day trippers, and my plan is I'm gonna go on the full tour of the fort because I did explore it a little bit by myself, but I'm actually really interested in the history and learning more details about it. So I'm gonna do that, and then it will be lunchtime. You get a free Jersey Mike's sub. Then after that, if there's still time, I'm going to return right here to this beach and maybe even take a nap until it's time to get back on the boat and then go back to Key West. So, man, it's been great. I was just thinking, like, I'm kind of sad to leave, actually. I'm, like, exhausted and sunburnt and kind of excited to be back to civilization, but I'm gonna miss it when I'm gone because, I mean, this has just been wild, just incredible. I feel like I could at least do one more night. Like, I think that would have been the move if I could have gotten reservations for 2 nights. Man, so nice. It's just so nice. I'm not going to try to tell y'all all of the history I learned about Fort Jefferson because there are layers upon layers upon layers of history. I'd never do it justice the way our tour guide did. But when you're really made to think about the sheer manpower and honestly human suffering that it took to construct this in the mid-1800s, in the middle of the ocean, on an island with no natural building materials, you really see every brick in a new light. And there's this piece of modern history displayed in the fort, a boat powered by an old car engine that Cuban migrants had used to make the desperate journey across the ocean in the hopes of applying for U.S. residency. This is just one example of hundreds of these boats that have landed on this island in the past decade. And just like that, it was time to say goodbye. And for me to say thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss an adventure. And leave a comment down below. I'd always love to hear from you.